Hi there, today I will explain a martial arts epic film titled Hero. There will be spoilers, so be safe and stay dangerous. The movie starts in ancient China during the Warring States period. Nameless, a Qin prefect, arrives at the Qin capital city to meet the king of Qin, who has survived multiple attempts on his life by the assassins Long Sky, Flying Snow, and Broken Sword. Because of this, the king has implemented extreme security measures. No visitors are allowed to approach the king within 100 paces next to him. Nameless claims that he has slain the 3 assassins, and their weapons are displayed before the king, who allows the former to approach within 100, 20, and finally 10 paces before the throne and tell him his story. Nameless recounts first killing Long Sky at a gaming house, where an incredible display of martial arts both physically and metaphorically in the mind commence. Next, Nameless disguised himself as a citizen of Zhao, traveling to meet Flying Snow and Broken Sword, who have taken refuge at a calligraphy school in the Zhao state, which the Qin army besieges. He tells Sword that he is there to commission a calligraphy scroll with the character for Sword, secretly seeking to learn Sword's skill through his calligraphy. The Qin army begins its assault, barraging the school with a devastating arrow attack, wounding and killing many while the students remain steadfast, honoring their studies. Nameless and Flying Snow, in a dazzling exhibition, advance outside to deflect arrows from further destroying the school and its people. Nameless also learns that once lovers Snow and Sword have grown distant. Once the scroll is complete, Nameless reveals his identity and reveals that Snow and Sky had been together as lovers. Saying that Sky was certain Snow would avenge him, Nameless challenges Snow to a duel the next day. A heartbroken and angry Sword has relations with his pupil, Moon. Snow kills Sword in revenge, and later Moon when she attempts to seek vengeance. The next day, Nameless kills an emotionally unstable Snow before the Qin army and claims her sword. As the tale concludes, the king expresses disbelief and accuses Nameless of staging the duels with the assassins. He had, in the previous assassination attempt, perceived Sword as an honorable man who would not betray Snow in that manner. The king then suggests that what really happened was that the assassins volunteered their lives so that Nameless could gain the king's trust, which would allow Nameless to get close enough to the king to kill him. In the king's hypothetical version of the story, Nameless seeks out Snow and Sword after staging the battle with Sky, telling them that he has perfected a technique that allows him to kill any target that is within 10 paces. Nameless explains that he can use this to kill the king, but to get close enough he must present one of their weapons to the king. He further explains that he only needs to kill one of them in public in order to do this. Snow and Sword argue over who should be the one to die, resulting in a short fight in which Snow injures Sword. She meets Nameless before the Qin army. The recovering Sword watches helplessly as Snow is defeated. Broken Sword, under extreme grief at the loss of Snow, honors her by battling Nameless in a touching tribute, clashing swords but not harming one another. Moon later gives Nameless her master's sword, telling him that the swords of Snow and Sword should remain together in death as they had in life. Nameless admits that he does indeed possess the special technique the king alluded to. However, he states that the king has underestimated Sword and tells the true story. Nameless says that the special technique, while deadly, can also be used to deal a blow that misses all of the victim's vital organs while appearing fatal. He used this technique on Sky and asks Snow and Sword to cooperate by faking a duel with him as well. Snow agrees to the plan, but Sword refuses. Snow angrily accuses Sword of ruining the opportunity they had 3 years ago. In a flashback, the scene shows Snow and Sword advancing to the king's quarters, decimating the enormous fleet of the Qin army en route. In a thrilling battle, Sword overpowers the king, leaving a cut on his neck as a reminder of how close to death he was. Flashing forward, Snow attacks Sword and manages to wound him with Nameless's help in order to prevent Sword from spoiling their plans. The next day, Nameless kills Snow in front of the Qin army. Sword later explains to Nameless that he let the king survive because he desired a unified, peaceful China, and that only the king of Qin could achieve that vision. He then sends Nameless off to the Qin capital, writing the words, "Our land," in the sand to persuade Nameless to reconsider the assassination. The king, touched by the tale and Sword's understanding of his dream to unify China, ceases to fear Nameless any longer. He tosses his own sword to Nameless and examines the scroll drawn by Sword. The king suddenly realizes it, describing that an ideal warrior should, paradoxically, have no desire to kill. Understanding the wisdom of these words, Nameless abandons his mission and spares the king. When Snow learns that Sword convinced Nameless to forego the assassination, she furiously attacks Sword and unintentionally kills him when he chooses not to defend her strike, so that she would understand his feelings for her. Overwhelmed with sorrow, Snow commits suicide. At his court's urging, the king reluctantly orders Nameless to be executed for his assassination attempt, understanding that in order to unify the nation, he must enforce the law and use Nameless as an example. Nameless receives a beautiful, epic hero's funeral. A closing text identifies the king as Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. Thanks for watching. Please comment, please like, and please subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next video. You're all great. Take care.